everybody. Welcome to Brew Fanatics TV. Today's a good day. We're brewing today, so pretty excited about that. I'm actually on my way right now to meet up with the guys from Rivertown Brewing Company. They've been here in Cincinnati for a little bit over a year. Briefly met them a couple months back at the Cincinnati Beer Fest. Been just trying to connect with them, try to get in there, see how their operation goes, and try to get some tips from them. Learn a little bit more about what it takes to brew great tasting beer on a larger scale than my brother's garage. So hopefully try to get some good video and some pictures for you, and just want to get in there and see what we can learn. So enjoy. Welcome back. Sitting here right now with Jason from Rivertown Brewing Company. Randy's in the back. He should be joining us here in probably a minute. Just had a few questions for you. So,
fire with it.
The first beer you ever made, do you remember what it was?
Oh God, first beer I ever made. I think the first beer I ever made, I tried to do a steam, Anchor Steam clone.
Do you remember how it turned out?
Terrible.
Terrible?
Terrible. Absolutely. Well, that was back before you had, all the internet things and everything else. So you didn't have, all these beer magazines. And so they didn't tell you, add the hops, you got to pull them back out. So yeah. That's how it ended up.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the fun, is the experimentation. What got you into brewing your own beer? What was the inspiration for that?
For me, it was my uncle. My uncle homebrewed back in the late '80s. Brewed through the '90s. I remember him bringing, the corny kegs and the trash cans and stuff to family functions.
Yeah.
I just thought it was cool. I really, at that point in time, I really didn't even know beer, but I thought that was cool, and his beer tasted good, so I thought, man, I want to try that. So that's my start.
What about you, Randy? What inspired you to start brewing beer?
I was in the Navy in the '80s.
Yeah.
And going to other countries and stuff like that. And I had some English bitters, and got back to the United States, and they weren't here.
Yeah.
So I tried to brew something that resembled them.
Okay.
That's where the sickness started.
Very good.
Yeah.
What kind of beer did you brew for the Longshot contest?
I had 16 beers in the Longshot contest.
Oh, wow.
3 won gold, advanced the second round, and then 1 won the Longshot. So the one that won the Longshot was the unblended lambic.
Very good. And did you write that recipe yourself? I mean, that's okay. And how long ago was that?
I won that, God, it's been, almost a year and a half now. Yeah.
Were you mad that you had to give up the recipe to St. Adams?
No, because they couldn't do anything with it anyway.
True.
So, but it didn't much matter.
And was that the first time you'd ever entered it, or had you entered it before?
I had entered that beer in other competitions. It was the first year I ever entered in St. Adams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you guys originally from?
I was born here. I was raised here until I got into middle school, high school, and then I lived in Central Florida for a bunch of years, and then we came back. So this is the one.
What are you, Randy?
Kansas.
Kansas?
Yeah, born in Kansas. And I leave 1986 joined the military in class.
Right. And then how did you guys cross paths?
So strangely, the homebrew club, but we never met at the homebrew club.
Okay.
So we're both members of the Military Brewing League, and it's one of the things. I was at a homebrew club talking to some people and had telling them my ideas about opening a brew pub.
Yeah.
I said, Jason Roeper's doing the same thing, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Got the phone number, gave him a call. That was late August of last year, and
Gosh, it was even before that, wasn't it?
no, August.
Was it August?
Yeah, late August.
So
it was from August to December was a whirlwind of work and getting this
everything.
done.
Yeah, everything just really spun.
Why'd you guys choose Cincinnati to set up shop?
Well, several reasons. First off, we both live here. First and foremost, that's it. You know, there's such a lack of breweries in Cincinnati. I mean, there are breweries here, but as far as a mainstream, this is hometown brew, you really don't have. I mean, Mount Carmel, you had Barrel House, they're gone. You know, Main Street Brewing, they're gone. Watson Brothers, they're gone. You know, you got Rock Bottom and Hofbrau, although the guys that brew there are fantastic brewers and make great beer. Hofbrau's not from Cincinnati. Neither is Rock Bottom. They're based out of Denver. You know? And once again, you know, the guys that live here, they brew there, so I'm certainly not saying that, but you know, really, we're one of. There is another brewery here in Cincinnati. It's small, Listerman's.
Sure.
And they don't.
That's where I get a lot of my supplies.
And they're great. I mean, great guys. We get along. Matter of fact, we get some stuff from them every now and again. But you know, their brewery, they only brew and sell right there on the premises. So you know, they're not in Kroger's and all these other places. So they're really. You got Mount Carmel. That's it. And there's a lot of people that are going. You know, I go to these beer bars. You go to the beer cellar. You go to these places and look at the racks on the walls and watch people paying $5-6 a pint. I mean, there definitely was a need for it here.
Cool.
Without a doubt.
Very good.
Cincinnati actually has a brewing history to it. You know, there used to be 47 different breweries in here, and now there's basically two. You know, and microbrewery. You know, that beer, microbrew beers are on. You know, incline, and you know, big beers, you know, Bud Miller Coolers are on a decline. People are realizing that you can get, you know, a beer of, you know, this quality and this taste, and not have to, you know, drink piss water.
No, you can say piss water. How many barrels do you guys produce in your first? Well, you haven't gone through your first year yet, have you?
We're on pace this year to hit a little over 1,500 barrels.
1,500. And the original goal was 800, wasn't it?
Yes.
Awesome.
We've way surpassed that. Next year's goal is to be at 2,000. We've got the capacity to do it. I think Randy told you earlier we got to pick up another chiller.
Okay.
So, you know, in the summertime we fall behind because of the immense heat. But outside of that, you know, wintertime with the equipment we have, we can roll and get to 2,000 barrels.
I read earlier that originally that you planned serving pizza. So I'm just wondering if why you changed your mind on that.
Well, you know, we didn't really change our mind. I mean, we would love to have a brew pub.
Okay.
Honestly, you know, this is great, and brewing beer is fun. But you know what? You kind of have that people interaction, you know, and I guess you could say self-gratification or gratification. So you're serving your beer, and you get to watch the patrons drink it and enjoy it. So we always want to do that. I think we still are going to do that at one point in time. But, you know, we bought a whole bunch of kitchen equipment. It's all next door. We've got pizza ovens. We've got the whole bit. You walk into a bank and you say, hey, look, you know, I want to start a brew pub, and here's my idea. And you start, you know, pitching it to them. Man, they throw you out that door before you can even open your mouth.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Second they hear restaurant, you're done. See you, pal.
Startup restaurants right now,
they're all
about a 50% fail rate. So
yeah, it's not really good risk for them. Okay.
Microbrew fail rate is very low.
Okay. And other than your own brewery, who's your favorite brewer or brewery?
Oh gosh, can I give you like a list of 20?
Give me top three.
Oh my God! See, I've got like my favorites in categories. So like, you know, if I'm picking a Belgian beer, I'm picking an English beer. If I'm picking an English beer, I'm probably going to say Green King is one of my favorites.
Okay.
You know, I know that's a little more mainstream, but I'd say them. I'd say in the U.S. God, there's so many now. It's like you can choose. I mean, probably New Glarus.
Okay.
Let's see. If I'm in Germany, I'm probably going to go to Anger. You know, if I'm going to say Anger beers. God, yeah.
What about you, Randy?
Tough, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky question.
Yeah.
It really depends, like you said, it depends on the style. You know?
Okay.
Omegang, Belgish style ales that are brewed in the U.S. If you want to get one of those great, you know, hoppy beers like the Rivertown Brewing Company, double IPA.
Good answer.
Well, you said other than your own. I was trying to stay true to the question, but
right, because I figured that'd be obvious. Where can people buy Rivertown locally?
Locally, you can get it in Kroger's, Biggs Remke. We just got on with Myers, so you get all the Myers. Now we also have Whole Foods, Jungle Gyms, Party Town, Party Source, Root Cellar, Wyoming Wine and Spirits. I would probably take up most of your camera time to tell you all, because you got a bunch of Sunoco's, UDFs.
Oh, really? Okay.
We just signed a deal with Marathon Gas Stations. We just signed a deal with Dewey's Pizza.
Great.
So starting September.
Yeah, Dewey's is real good about bringing in. Bringing in local brew.
They are, but cool. Which is nice. They gave us all their chains.
Yeah.
Which is big, because it's 9 locations.
Yeah.
So you can get all of our, and they're carrying our seasonal product. So,
okay.
Which is nice. You can get a nice rotation going in there. And then, of course, on tap, oh gosh, everywhere from Smoky Bones to Arnold's downtown to Maggiano's to...
Yeah, 17 locations in the Cincinnati area and 37 locations in Northern Kentucky.
All right. So pretty much anywhere you go in Cincinnati, you can get Rivertown.
Northern Kentucky as well. Yep.
In Northern Kentucky. Do you guys do anything to treat your water prior to brewing with it? I mean, I know we touched on it a little bit when you first walked in, but... and even for different, when you're making different types of beer, I mean, do you have to change anything with the water?
A little bit. We don't change anything. We don't put any additives in the water. Fortunately, where we're at, and I know you said this earlier for camera purposes, the water that we get here is from the well.
Yeah.
It's very clean water, very, very low. There's no chloramines. They have to by law add some chlorine. We have charcoal filtration and deionization machines to counteract that. But if we're brewing our light beer, such as our Helles or our Dunkel beer, we'll probably run with a 75-25 split of deionized water.
Okay.
If we're brewing something like our pale or our double IPA or our stout, we'll pretty much go mostly just charcoal filtered water. It's just like well water, so it's a little harder, but definitely soft. So it's not permanent hardness. There's no permanent hardness.
Okay.
We do correct for pH.
Yeah, we do correct pH.
Sure. What would you say are a couple of the most important things homebrewers can do to go from making okay beer to really good beer? Is there a couple of key things at home?
Sanitation and fermentation.
Okay.
The rest of it, you can get really lost in the rest of it. And most homebrewers I've talked to, and even myself, get really trapped up in the water profile and get really trapped up in, boiling for 2 hours or caramelization or decoction mashing and all this stuff. We brew our Helles Lager, and a lot of people, we fool everybody with that beer. People think we decoct that beer to get that malt inside of it. You've seen our setup. We're single infusion mash setup.
Yeah.
It does not require that. What they really need to watch out for, the difference between making an okay beer and a great beer, it's not so much the recipe formulation. I mean, of course, you got to watch your colors and what hops you're adding, but outside of that, watch your sanitation. And when I say that, even down to little things that you wouldn't think about. Getting some little bug in there or some little funk, and then it's all out of whack.
Yeah.
Fermentation is the other key. You've got to watch your fermentation temps. You've got to have healthy yeast. You've got to have enough yeast. Temps, yeast pitch amounts. I mean, you saw, the vessels we use were going at 20 barrels. I pitched a little over 2 kegs full of yeast.
Okay.
And that translates to, on a homebrew scale, if you're brewing a 5-gallon batch, that'd be 4 vials of wet labs. Or 4 smack packs of wet labs.
Oh, yeah. Expensive.
It's expensive. It's expensive. And but the thing is, if you watch your sanitation, you can reuse that yeast.
Sure. Okay. Anything to add to that?
No, the fermentation temperature, that's key, because that, like we were talking about earlier, our kettle has about 4 gallons that drains off, and I'll take that home occasionally and have a 5-year-old son, and he'll leave my fermentation room, he'll leave the door open, and the temperatures will get out of whack, and the beer, even though it was boiled in the same place, the same hops, the same everything.
Same yeast.
Same yeast. The fermentation temperature is different, and it'll taste completely different.
All right.
It's difficult at home to have control of fermentation temperature, but
right. That's actually one thing we've been battling with too, is the temperature. And we did a pretty cool experiment just doing, we did 2 single gallons of a red ale, and all we did was change the mash down. And we did one.
Sorry.
We
were both thinking the same thing. It's like, we need that.
Hey, saving some beer over here. Hey, has been your biggest challenge thus far?
Biggest challenge, actually, is knowing rules and regulations.
Okay.
Not knowing,
What kind? Like, what do you mean?
Well, like federal regulations, state regulations. So each one of the labels, the federal government, the TTB, the Trade and Tax Bureau. So each one of the labels, they have to prove it.
Okay.
And they have to prove the full, all of your verbiage on the side, things like that. And they will, like the Double Down India Pale Ale.
Yeah.
We actually, had to spell out India Pale Ale. Our first version of it, said, Double Down IPA. And they, have to spell it. Yeah, exactly. We, called them and said, hey, there are beers on the market right now.
Yeah.
Say IPA.
There's grandfathered in or something.
Grandfathered in.
Yeah.
So as the rules change, you have to kind of change with it. And,
so staying on top of those has been a really big challenge for you.
Yeah.
You know you're going to make good beer.
But, when you get visited, by the federal government, something like that, they'll, look through everything you're doing, and or things like, the fire department, the health department, all this kind of stuff that's, state liquor control, they'll find something. It's like I have no idea that
right.
you're supposed to do that.
Do you guys repitch your yeast, or do you buy new each time?
That would be extremely expensive. To buy new yeast each time. So, we do get yeast from White Labs.
Yeah.
So one, like a 7-barrel pitch from White Labs, ends up costing close to $300. So, because you have to have it shipped overnight, things like that.
Yeah.
So we do, ours do collect and pitch yeast.
Right. Didn't screw anything up, did we?
No, it's all good.
I don't want to take you guys away from it.
No problem.
All right. Yeah. So as you're saying about the yeast.
Yeah. So we're talking about collecting and repitching yeast. And this is one of those areas where we're talking about sanitation.
Mm-hmm.
Every single part that you're dealing with, for collecting and storing, has to be not just like kind of sanitized.
Yeah.
It damn well better be sanitized.
Yeah.
Look at the contact time of the sanitizer that you're using and double.
Okay.
And I think the other thing too, differentiating between home brewing and professional brewing, and it should correlate, but a lot of home brewers mistake sanitizing and cleaning.
Okay.
Okay. And think that all you have to do is sanitize.
Okay.
There's a big problem there. First thing you have to do is you got to clean.
Yeah.
Before you sanitize. If you're just sanitizing, all you're doing is sanitizing dirt.
Right.
You're sanitizing,
whatever microbes
lactobacillus, or you're sanitizing, understand that, a lot of these bugs and things can live through a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
Especially if they're collected on the bottom of some keg. If you're using an old corny keg or something,
right.
Don't just slap some iodophore and think that's going to take care of it.
Right.
What we do, we watch everything. We go through several different cleaning procedures. We clean, we might brew, like this weekend we brew, we brew Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, we'll bottle, and then Tuesday we'll break everything down and clean it.
Okay.
We go through acid rinses and alkali rinses.
Yeah.
Just make sure everything's absolutely sparkling.
Okay.
Before we can even think about sanitizing.
All right. I had asked Randy what he thought was the biggest challenge thus far, and he mentioned the rules and regulations and learning, how to deal with those and adjust to those. Would you have anything that you want to add to that? What's your biggest challenges here?
Yes. I think the other challenge is, trying to watch a budget.
Okay.
Monies and overhead. That's a flip side of this too. Obviously, understand that, when somebody buys a 6-pack of our beer, the person that made the most money was the person that sold it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Not the person that made it, not even the person that distributed it.
Yeah.
So, the name of this game is volume. So more of it. So, it's we hope that people in Cincinnati really like it and they want to support, local breweries. And the way to do that is to continue to buy from them.
Yeah.
We try and stay competitive. We make sure that our pricing is right in line with everybody else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we kind of take it in the shorts on some of it because we make sure that we use quality ingredients and things like that. There's a lot of breweries out there nowadays that, will even craft brewers. They don't necessarily add corn and rice like the big three, but they'll cut corners with grain. They might purchase last year's barley
right.
leftovers, and or they'll buy the cheapest grain that they can get to make a pale ale. you know, as you can see, and you're a home brewer, so
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you know, you look over there, do you see any cheap, you know,
Right.
pale malt?
Right.
You know,
No.
we could get away with it, you know, and some people would know, but you know what, overall, somebody would say, that doesn't taste like the same beer, you know, at the end of the day.
Yep. Very good.
I think that's happened, you know, Christian Moorline, when they were brewing, and they're brewed in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the company that they were having contract brew, you know, changed up their grains, and and Christian Moorland actually had to change their label because
which was smart. It was a smart move.
Yeah, because the beer tasted
so as long as they're taking care of it and recalling it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, things happen. Understand, and you know this, and everybody's probably watching this knows this, that you know, fermentation is a live thing.
Yeah.
You know, things sometimes happen.
Yeah.
You know, and you try and control it. I mean, fortunate for us, knock on wood, we haven't had any of those issues. But you know, every now and again you'll get a cap that can go all the way down on a bottle.
Yeah.
You know, you get a phone call that, you know, my bottle was flat. And it happens.
Yeah.
You know, things you try and watch it, but you don't know until it gets out of its sealed or not. You know.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is you know, where companies make it and where they fail is that they're willing to take care of it.
Okay.
You know, and that's, you know, talking about that, that's something that we do, you know, our emails, the info@rivertownbrewery.com, you know, we get people, oh, you know, I had your beer here, I had your beer there, or something like that.
Right.
If something happens, and you know, have a beer that you didn't like, or you know, like a lot of the emails, people say, oh, you know, I bought this beer, the 6-pack, and I got home, and there was, you know, other beers in it. You know, people at the stores, they'll make their own, you know, mixed up 6-packs.
Right.
We get this emails, and you know, we just say, you know, come to the brewery. We'll you know, we'll try to make it up to you.
Cool.
You know, give you a good tour. You know, to do some tasting, and you know,
that goes a long way.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to diffuse that. We've got a 12-pack, a variety 12-pack coming out at the end of this month.
Okay.
And hopefully that'll end that nonsense.
Yeah. Last couple questions. Why do you guys think some brew pubs or breweries like Barrel House fail?
Well, shouldn't we just use Barrel House?
Yeah, or whomever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's local, and
yeah.
people want to know, and you know, I guess when you start with a place like that, you know, you got a group of people that were really enthusiastic about starting a brewery, cared about the brewery, you know, put forth a lot of money and effort, hired the right people. They got, you know, a great brewer in there. I don't know if you met Rick the Bar.
No, I haven't.
But he actually came in from Stouts Brewery out of Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Super knowledgeable, knew how to brew beer, great guy, made some fantastic beers.
Yeah.
And at any rate, things started, you know, with the riots that hit downtown.
Yeah.
That was a big thing, and that's, you know, when we started approaching the bank, and you talk about brew pubs and, you know, locations. With us, it doesn't matter. We can set up shop over the Rhine. We can set up shop, you know, in Westchester. It makes no difference because we're just a port of origin. You know, with them, they relied on retail business and people walking through the doors. So those riots hit, Main Street closed. That was pretty much it for our pub.
Okay.
So they shut that down, and they sold it off to another gentleman.
All right, so it's a good thing I'm not trying to be a movie producer here. Unfortunately, my camera crapped out on me last couple minutes of the interview. I guess that's what you get for using a digital camera. So, but Jason did go on to say that, you know, if you ever had to sacrifice quality for quantity, that would be the day that he shut down the place. You know, so and Randy also agreed. It was really good to see both of them very passionate about the quality of the beer. Really excited about it. It was a really cool thing to see. Had a great time. I'd like to thank both, you know, Jason and Randy for letting me hang out for the day. I do look forward to coming out there in the near future and actually volunteering, trying to get my hands dirty a little bit to actually learn, you know, a little bit more about the actual brewing process on a bigger scale. I mean, 1,500 barrels. That's a lot of beer. And if anyone that's watching, if you're in Cincinnati, plenty of places, you know, in the area to pick up Rivertown Brewing. Highly recommend you do. You know, I've tried them all. They're pretty damn good. Hope everybody learned something. I know I did. And, you know, keep drinking good beer. Cheers.